Hello everybody, this is Will Chase again with ChaseNCredit. Love saying that. ChaseNCredit. We're back again with some more information about business credit. The other day we was in a video talking about, will getting married affect my credit? And some good information. I know I've had some experience with that, good and bad. But today we're going to talk about frequently asked questions about marriage and credit. Because I was holding a class the other day, and there were some couples in there, and the topic came up about them starting a business. That's what it was about, business credit. And they wanted to know about being a couple, right? Being married or engaged to be married, and how that would affect their credit going into business together, right? So my team jotted down some questions, so I wanted to do a little video about that. Frequently asked questions about marriage and credit, because that seemed to be a hot topic, an important one, I believe. So hopefully we can get into that a little bit today. So there's a misconception that some people would have, thinking that once you get married, of course your name can come together. You know, some people keep their name separate or just add the other person's last name, but your social security number is attached to you, which means your credit history would be attached to you, which means your credit score would be attached to you. So all that stays separate, right? Now that might sound very simplistic, but when you really think about it, you would think everything else joins together, right? So your assets come together, your taxes should come together, joint domain. I mean, just everything else comes together, right? So why not your credit? I mean, you're coming together. You can go buy a house, you can go buy a car, you can get a dog. I mean, everything else comes together. So why not your credit just kind of merges together, right? But it actually don't, right? So I just felt like I needed to say that, because those questions were asked. It was even asked, why not? Now, of course, I don't control the credit bureaus, right? Air quotes. I don't know why air quotes, but I mean, but it just don't, right? Because your social security number belongs to you, no matter what, till the day you die. It belongs to you. So your credit history stays with you, your credit score stays with you. So that by itself, along with probably a few other things, stays separate. Husband and wife, whatever, no matter what, stays with you. So that does not merge among some other things. So the other question that came up is, so changing your name once you get married. Now, of course, you want to, you'll have that on your marriage license, but you want to also change that, on your driver's license. And for accuracy, you want to do that on your credit report, right? Too. You can send that information in, but on your credit report, all you're doing is, updating that. It's just going to update it, right, from your birth name to the addition, right? Who's ever changing her last name. So it's just going to update it. It's not going to change who you are. So again, updating is not wiping anything else away. So all that past credit history, good and bad credit, all that's going to stay the same. So really just, send the information in, get it updated, make sure any inaccuracies, check out your credit bureau, make sure you got the credit monitoring system going on, the paid ones, so you can check it monthly and because that's a investment into yourself, and see what's going on with your credit, and then you can see when it actually updates with your new last name, and that's really all that's going to happen. I mean, so you're not going to get a new credit score just for getting married, and none of that bad stuff that's on there is going to wipe away, and it's not going to add any of your spouse's new good credit on yours or bad stuff. So that's usually how it works. So the another misconception is, of course the marriage itself would lower your credit score. Now it don't. However, I can see where a marriage or a honeymoon has a possibility of lowering your credit score, because if you're racking up bills trying to have the wedding of the century, inviting a bunch of people, and that having $100,000 wedding or $1 million wedding and putting that on your credit card, and taking your debt to income ratio. I'm sorry, the amount that you owe on your credit cards, right? And racking that up, and once that hits your credit cards, and then it hits your credit reports, and it takes that amount up. That could really lower your credit score. Y'all could do that together, right? So I can see where increasing your available or lowering your available credit. I can see where that, having a wedding and a honeymoon, putting all that on your credit report could easily lower your credit score. Y'all could do, as a couple, y'all could easily lower your credit scores both at the same time, at one time. So that was a good question, and hopefully that's a good answer. So last but not least, so like I was saying, none of that information is going to merge, right? So if you as one spouse got good credit, and you as the other spouse has good credit, none of that's going to merge, right? But you do have the option, right? This is where it gets good. You do have the option. The one spouse with the good credit has the option of helping the other spouse with the bad credit become a user on some of his good credit. I don't mean to say his, like he's the one with the good credit, and it might be her, so vice versa. Whoever has the good credit, they can help the other person, right? So that's why I was saying in another video, don't bail on the other person just because they got bad credit. There's a fix for everything, right? First find out, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Find out what happened to the person. Listen to their story. Everybody, had a downfall, right? Help that person back up. And but you can make that person an authorized user, and then both of y'all end up with good credit, and now y'all can do some things, right? What's your strategy? That's what I keep saying. What's the strategy here? That person might be a powerhouse, and y'all become a power couple, and y'all can do some main things. But they need some help to get their credit back up, and that'll be the push they need, right? And you can bring that to the table. So being an authorized user on a couple of accounts, you got some long history on your credit, and that might be the bump they need, right? So just take that in consideration, right? And make that person authorized user, get a couple of joint accounts, and next thing you know, that person got a higher credit score than you in a short amount of time. It don't take 7 years to get that old bad stuff off, and then you're kind of working on getting the bad stuff off too. So that's a strategy, right? Working together as a team. But just, those are some of the things, the misconceptions, as well as a strategy, right? You kind of level it out, and then you got that scale and it's weighing out. Now you're working together, and you got that choo-choo train going down the tracks, and you're making things happen. So I just wanted to share that, about marriage and credit, and it's going to come up, especially if you're thinking about marriage and you got credit, good or bad, right? So just keep that in mind. And again, if I touched on a couple subjects that you want to hear a little bit more about, please leave some feedback. If this is the first time you come across this video channel, please subscribe. We love talking about business credit, and we talk about personal credit too, because it's going to lead into the other. So this is Chase with ChaseNCredit, and we look forward to talking to y'all again soon.